Enigma 6. If you're a COD esports fan, many things come to mind when you think of this team. Probably fond memories of the past. But for me, it's mediocrity. That's the only word that ever comes to mind when I think of this team. You might think, but bro, they have so much potential. Look at them now. Look at I heard all this stuff in IW. I'm hearing it in World War II. I'm hearing it this year. Let's start at the beginning, okay? Let's start at the beginning. I'm gonna show you their absolute high point as an organization. You might be shocked to know when that was. Now, I'm going to show you a video in a second. It's not my video. It's on YouTube. Um, by the way, this video is not monetized, so if the person that is the owner of the video has a problem with that, I mean, I'm adding something to your video, but I mean, at the same time, whatever. You might have a problem with it. This isn't monetized, so don't worry about it. Not making money off of it. But I'm going to show you a video of where it all started. Most COD esports fans probably know the video I'm about to show. They probably do. But unless you came around recently. Hold on, let me. So this is where it all began. This is this is their absolute high point as an organization. You might be shocked to know how long ago it was. Let's see here. All right, go over to the video. Look familiar. Look familiar. Hold on, let me just turn up the volume here as you can see. Alrighty then. Put it back to like right there. Alright. Enjoy.
Massive kills. Huge kills from FOMO. Keeps Optic alive. 1 minute 51. E6 going at Optic Gaming right now. Exit. Can he pick up the kill? Tries to line up a shot. Karma just turns around and gives him the business. And Ruiz wrapping back to the flag. Again, still plenty of time for E6 to do this. 1 minute 38. However, Optic Gaming going to go for the flagpole. It's going to be Scump. He makes his way up top. And Ruiz left in a little bit of no man's land. Scump's going to challenge. And then Ruiz misses him. They're actually right next to each other.
Oh, God, he jukes
Can he
him.
get away? The flag is returned.
Oh, Exib there with the great two-piece.
Oh, that's 3 down,
well.
too.
And do they have anyone in position to pull the flag? No, but they are moving across mid-map
They
now.
have that spawn. They can
Ruiz
stun
sees
spawn.
one spawning. Got the nade in. Trying to push forward.
He needs
Not
his
able
kill.
to get the angle.
Oh, the stop comes in from Ruiz. Nasty play, but the kill was traded. Oh, Jimbo with the movement. This is an insane overtime. Exib, can he go for the flag? 60 seconds left. He's going to pull it. Looks as if he's going to go towards bottom middle. Play with directly to his left-hand side. General, Exib goes up top. How is he
And
away?
he gets
He's still
through the
alive,
CP
Maven.
team.
He is still
Winning
alive. E6, he's winning the flag. Exib, can he get the flag? 50
through.
seconds out. He
There's
goes
the return.
down.
Are they able to get it?
Still alive. The flag is returned. Oh my God.
What is
Optic
happening?
Gaming with a huge clutch in overtime. That was insane play from the green
And
wall.
Krebs out.
Krim's gonna try and counter it. He's away. One
He's
player.
got one player
He goes
behind
down
him.
as well. Oh my God, Maven. I have never seen a more intense overtime in my entire life. What is going on? Can we just have this as a grand final?
This is absolutely
insane.
insane. 20 seconds left. If they get this last kill at home, they should shut it down. I think that's all they needed. There's not enough
17
time.
seconds.
Exip falls. That's it. Optic Gaming is
my
going
God.
to take the series.
It was not easy though, Maven. It was not easy. How many times did we see players from Optic Gaming clutch up when they needed to? That was absolutely...
So there we go. Even in their most successful moment, of course, I'm showing a loss. Let's take this off. Kind of sad. But no. Alright. So, now we're back to normal. Enigma 6, honestly, that's their most popular moment, I would say. Yeah, like, most people have seen that video. I know it's an L, whatever, but they came out of nowhere with this. And honestly, at the time, I never heard of any of them. Any of their players. They played mainly in the Michigan esports tournaments that they have up there that are really, really big. But it's just Michigan players. Like, I think most people outside of Michigan never even heard of that until probably late in AW. Then They had a couple big events that a couple big teams went to. But they placed third at that event, and most people know that and remember that. They lost to Optic there. They Let me see here. I'm bringing up the bracket real quick. So they lost to Optic 3-1. Their road to get there what was decent. They beat Vex in the first round. If you remember Vex, they were Fastball and Profits team. If you remember, Fastball you probably know because he was in the league for a little bit even this year. Uh, and then Profit was I know about Profit because he was a semi-pro player from the Philadelphia area, which is where I'm from, and honestly, he's not that big. The other people on the team, like you might remember Jay Sano, if you watched AW, uh, competitive Call of Duty back then in AW, you probably know Jay Sano from that event. He was, he's not really that big of a deal in COD history, but he was a surprise player. Vex hasn't. I get they're not really relevant. They tried coming back in World War II, but they're not really relevant. They weren't really that great then, but they were another surprise young team, and E6 was the surprise young team that came out of they both came out of the open bracket, I believe. No, no. E6 is the only one who came out of the open bracket. Vex just got a bunch of pro points, I guess. Um, but yeah, so they beat them. Then they beat Elevate, who was a pretty good team back then. They placed Elevate placed fifth, sixth in this event. Uh, It was classic TJ Halley, Temp, and who was known as back then Replays, Crowder now. Um, Honestly, they got better as the year went along, if you remember Elevate. I don't think this is like their final form. I don't think this. I'm trying to think when in the span of events this was. I'm gonna go back to the list. Yeah. So there was still at this point we still had UMG Dallas coming up. We still had UMG DC. We still had the MLG World Finals. I Elevate got better as the year went along. I don't think that was their best team, but still a decent victory. 3-2. They come against Optic. They take a map off Optic. You saw that map there. That was to try to force it to Game 5. They were so close to going the distance with the best team in AW. So, uh, best team in Jetpack COD in general. Um, then they lose a close series, and they kind of just get destroyed by FaZe. They really did. Um, and that was not the FaZe team to pick it up. That was Slasher and Abel Zuma Hook. And oh boy, another Slasher-led quote-unquote God Squad that failed. They placed second at that event. Uh, were not able to unseed Optic. They did force them to a second best of five, winning 3-2, and then they got 3-0 in the second best of five. Optic won, obviously. Um, but yeah, so that was a great start. These guys coming out of nowhere, like holy crap! Look at this player, General. Look at his supporting cast. They look pretty decent too. They look like young up and comers. They placed third place. Before this, they were playing MES tournaments. And right after this, they went to the MES Detroit 20K and they won the whole event. So they were like they're clearly the best from their area at least, of the country. And I mean, you think they would take that momentum, right? They would take that momentum because this has always been the theory behind them that they're these young up and coming players and they got so much unlimited potential. Give them some time, they're gonna keep getting better. Look at this guy in general. Where do I even start? Well, let's just go through the rest of their LAN performances in AW alone. They go to the COD AW Season 3 relegation tournament. They're trying to get into the league. First off, this is where their first team move came in. Not a lot of people know, but Proto was actually on the team, and I barely even remember this. Proto was actually on the team, the guy from IW, all the way back then in 2015, 2 years before. And it was just for this relegation tournament, trying to get in the league. They also picked up Holler. So they got Proto and Holler. They dropped Cade and Exib. I'm not sure what happens with Cade. I'm not sure why he keeps like joining and leaving and joining and leaving. I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of weird relationship going on there. I remember when he left. Though. I remember when General made a YouTube video about that. I watched that. They placed 13th through 16th. They didn't make it to the league. They didn't do good at all. So they instantly scrap that whole project of a team, and they go to a new project of a team, picking up old guys, putting them with the new guys, Everlees in general. Uh, they got Parasite and Proofy. Uh, if you know anything about Proofy in particular, his career was already on the downslide at this point. You could argue with me all you want that he was good or bad at AW. His career would never, ever, ever recover after he got dropped from Optic. After Ghost. Just facts, man. It's just how it is. This team, again, only lasted one event. They placed T16 again. Alright, that's better than the relegation tournament where you're only. I mean, how do you place T16 at a relegation? You're only playing other teams like you. You're not even playing the. I don't know. But T16, alright. Whatever. But they decided that wasn't alright, whatever. And they went ahead and scrapped that whole team. And they picked up another newcomer to the scene, Fellow, who, if you remember, started on automatic reload, uh, who plays really well at Champs that year. I'm not sure if he was on that team. But he was kind of on the come up at AW. He really broke through in Black Ops 3, but whatever. Another young guy, and they picked up John, which you would think, John, look at John now. Holy shit, that's like the best. Neslo called him the best player in the world in AW. That's a great pickup. Like, bro, look at his career since Black Ops 3 to now. Look at John. They placed T20. They placed T20. Like, that's just not. I actually want to go into who they played, because, like, UMG, Washington, 2015. I'm a TK fan. I remember that event for we're back, bro. We placed fifth, sixth, bro. We're back. We're so good again. And yeah, that was no, no. We almost beat MV in the first round. Lost 3-2. We would have lost to Optic anyway. We would have got shit on, but whatever. Let's see. Enigma 6. Were they even in groups? No, of course not. What am I thinking? They were not in groups. It's not showing the who cares? Somehow through the losers bracket of the open bracket, they made it into the main losers champion bracket. They ended up playing threes up in the first round, which Jesus Christ, who's that team? Who like I know threes up, I just don't. Let me see. Khalifa, Miyagi, Legal, and Aries. I mean, Miyagi is trash. He's only good at Ghost. Khalifa, he's kind of a young up and comer and then just disappeared after this game. After AW, he was really good at AW. Legal and Aries, I don't even care to talk about them. Uh, so I mean, and that was 3-2. It wasn't like they dominated. And then they go up against Epsilon, who at the time, who was their team? Let's see. Epsilon. Go all the way back to DC. Oh, that was their Remy Nagafin Royalty Parasite team who was memed when they were in the league and they all drank at the same time. If you remember that, that's so long ago though. That honestly losing to that team, I don't know how to feel about that. They lost to that team to get eliminated 3-1. Epsilon ended up getting 3-0'd by ISO in the next round. ISO was a pretty decent team then. They also placed in the 5th, 6th spot next to TK. They were a pretty decent team back then. But given a whole year of team changes and just trying to like develop into something, God, that's just not good enough, man. And it's not like they didn't agree. It's not like they didn't agree because then when they went into the last event of the year, World Finals, they uh they ended up dropping felony and having the great return of Exib. The great return, triumphant return of the young man Exib, right? Ah, jeez, this team is a dumpster. They're so bad. I hate them so much. I always have to hear the hype on this team, and I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But whatever. They pick up Exib. They still got John Proofy General. Uh, which honestly, I don't know. I don't know. They place T20 again. T20 again. Let me see the bracket here. God, I don't even care. They're so bad. They ended up open bracket. They made it to the losers championship bracket again through the losers bracket. They beat Control Gaming and they get 3-0'd by Epsilon, destroyed by them again. And Epsilon ended up going on a run and placing top 8. They actually eliminated by TK in that event, which I don't really care. No one cared about TK at that point. We just wanted the game AW to be over. But yeah, so then they go back with the original team in Black Ops 3, and they kind of just they didn't exist in Black Ops 3. They couldn't make it to the league. They couldn't do anything like that. So they just did their local lands, which they won both of them that they attended that year. They won the MES Game Fest 2016, Gamers for Giving 2016. I'm not sure how legit of an event that was. Just a couple local teams. Um, yeah. So they didn't really do much in Black Ops 3. Not really noticeable. And I think they kind of realized maybe Exib's heart wasn't in it. I don't know what happened with him, but I think they kind of realized that the original team was not gonna get it done, which was a smart move. They had that one event that was just lightning in the bottle. No one expected them. They were weird. Like it just happens. Like I understand that, but they do starting in IW, and you'll see IW World War II this game, 3 games in a row. They do become a legitimate professional org in COD, which I never thought would happen after Black Ops 3. They were wiped from my memory after Black Ops 3. I didn't even, at the time, when I saw them make their return in Las Vegas 2017, I was mind blown. Mind blown. I didn't even I forgot they existed. And I remember thinking to myself, what the hell happened to General? And that's what I want to talk about next. What the hell did happen with General from the very beginning? And that whole year of AW, by the way, the rest of the year that they played, was always thought of as the next up and coming superstar of the league. He was thought of that in AW. Don't freaking argue that, because he was. That's what he was seen as. And I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's ever really played bad on this team. And I'm not saying it's necessarily his fault that the team has struggled so freaking much. But like, bro, that is the main point of this team is they always have these young up and coming guys that are always seen as the next dominant player, but they never get it together. They got General. Cade is just like an average player, whatever, I'll give you that. When they had Proto, he was amazing at IW, lights out. What happened after that? Like, he never really became anything. He's not even relevant anymore. Everly's okay. You're in the Pro League. I don't, I don't know. I don't think he's that good. Royalty did become pretty damn good, but again, he's not even on the team anymore. Like, what has he even come close to winning a championship? I don't even think so that he's come that close. Maybe he has once or twice, but they always go below expectations. So IW, just look at it, cause you think, bro, their first ever event of existing before they were even really an org. Enigma 6 was just a name at that point. I'm pretty sure they placed third. Since then, in AW, their best placement besides that was T16. IW, let's get it going. Las Vegas, they come out of nowhere. General Cade, Proto, and Ruiz. A decent team. Uh, Honestly, not much expectations at that event, kind of like originally. So, like, alright, you can let it slide. They don't light the world on fire. Like, I think we were all pretty okay with that. Um, they end up being in the groups, and they 3-0 their group, which consists of Rise Nation, Optic Gaming, and Team Revenge. Great pool to 3-0. They come out of nowhere. They storm through that thing right there. And then you come to the bracket. And another surprise team is the thing that downed them, but I just don't accept it, bro. They come to the bracket after all that storming through, and I'll give you this team played really well in their pool too, almost placed first in it. They get 3-0'd by Allegiance. Like, instantly, they're the hottest looking team in the entire event. Let me read you this teams. They, they consist of Mochilla, Royalty, Remy, and Sinful. Mochilla? What? I mean, Mochilla was good at IW. That just reading that on paper, knowing what Remy and Mochilla and Sinful are now, Sinful doesn't even play anymore, is just like fucking hilarious thinking about it. Sorry for my cussing. That that they actually got 3-0'd by them. But whatever. Both teams did have high expectations. ALG and ALG did play really good that event. I'm not trying to downplay that because then they played C9 in the second round, lost 3-2, and they ended up outplacing E6, I believe. Yeah, they placed fourth. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to downplay that. They placed great. They almost beat C9 in the second round, who made it to the final. So, like, you gotta give them credit. But E6, they get destroyed as soon as they make it to the bracket. Then they play TGC in the first round, who yeah, Gosu crew. Okay, now I know who that is. And that was consisted of, now if you read this, back then we didn't know who the hell these guys were. But read this roster now, okay? Arcades, Pristini, Gunless, and Drama. And they 3-0'd them. Drama, not so much anymore. He's not relevant anymore, but he did make it to the Pro League, though, before. He was in the Pro League, and then you got Arcades, Pristini, and Gunless, who weren't putting it together yet, but we were about to see that they're like one of the best trios in the entire game. That was literally right about to come up. So that's in full context, that's a really good 3-0. Like really good. I'll give him credit for that. And they play Optic, and like Optic had already been knocked down to losers. They were pissed off. Optic storms through them, 3-1. Ended up losing to FaZe anyway. Fuck Optic. But no. Uh, that's an alright event for no expectations whatsoever. Like absolutely none. So you could give them some leeway. Here's the problem: we got four more LAN events, four with this current roster: General, Cade, Proto, and Ruiz. Let's read what happened. T16, Atlanta 2017. T12, Paris 2017. T12 again, Dallas 2017. The Global Pro League Stage 1, 5th, 6th. Which, not good. None of these are good. None of these absolutely are good at all. And if you remember, that's the first year we had the Land League. I mean, they almost placed last. Whatever. That's just they sucked. They sucked. That team sucked. You can say they don't suck because technically T12 is pro. They only place outside of T12 once. But with as the events went along, like you got to realize there was more and more expectations of this team, and I think they realized that they made the change. They're like, we're not accepting mediocrity anymore. We're not gonna do this anymore, man. We're breaking out, bro. We're not yeah, whatever. We're not the AW guys anymore. We're a legit org now, man. So they went up and they dropped M. Ruiz, which I think was a good call, and got royalty. I think it was more so royalty being the reason why that happened and not M. Ruiz. I don't remember M. Ruiz being that great of a player back then, but like he wasn't. I think I don't know. He's a, he's an average player, but royalty at the time, star. Okay, so that I like that move. I like that move, and instantly they proved that move to be right by having their best land placement since the original E6 in Anaheim, 5th, 6th. Not the best thing in the world, but 5th, 6th. That was only their. I mean, that was really their first time placing in top 6 since California, if you don't include the league, which doesn't have that much teams. I mean, I guess it's the pro league, so that's still decent. That's a good placement, but the first open event where they placed inside T6 since their first event. So, you know what? Rightfully so. The hype train was there. The hype train was there. We're doing this now. We're a good team finally. They had so much confidence in this team in the tail end of IW. And honestly, I kind of bought into it at the time. I really, really did. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did. I bought into it. I really did think they were a top team at that point. Should have known better. We come to stage 2. They placed dead last in stage 2 in the playoffs. In the playoffs. So, I mean, that's a punch in the gut. Let's see, did they even win a series? Then they couldn't have, right? Play in the groups, 4-2 in the groups. Wow. And then they go to the actual bracket. First rounded by Fnatic, who then got 3-0'd by LG, who then got 3-0'd by Optic. So, yeah, that wasn't a good performance in any conceivable way. That was kind of a punch in the gut as soon as you got confidence in this team. But it's like, all right, that's Pro League, whatever. We got the big boy coming up. The big boy. Biggest event in COD history. COD Champs 2017, baby. Let's get it. T12. Oh, man. I don't know how many E6 fans there are. I don't. I assume there are some. There has to be some. Like, I mean, I guess. God, that must be but that event must have been a punch in the gut. It had to be a punch in the freaking gut. They in the groups. They are a group. This is another thing that annoys me about this team. They are a groups team. They always do good in groups, and then I have to insufferably hear everybody be like, "Oh my God, E6 is gonna do so good in this event." And then what happens? Like, oh my God, 3-0, 9-2 in map count in groups. If they played like they did in actual bracket and actual pressure moments ever in pool play, they would be the best team ever. But alright, so they play Splice in the first round. Know anything about Splice at IW? That's a hard draw. That's a really hard draw. But They were a good team. They got 3-0'd. They didn't even show any signs of life. I mean, you can say it's a hard draw. I mean, they beat Cloud9 Rogue and Team Merkin Black in the groups. Cloud9, they were they were pretty good, I guess. I mean, like that's another thing you could say. Like they didn't have the hardest pool to get through, but whatever. They go to losers bracket. They beat Mind Freak Black. It's an Australian team. I don't even like giving them the time of day, so you should 3-0 them. Oh. Sneeze stuck. Whatever. And then they play Ghost. They get 3-1, which was another team I had to insufferably hear. Oh my god, Ghost is gonna do so much. They're such a fucking elite team. Look at them. They're the next fucking gods. No. Ghost lost in the next round. I'm sorry, but I just I hate pretending like I think people are elite that I know aren't. I hate like buying into hype early. Like people that buy into hype early, it's like, oh, whatever. So that was horrible. That was horrible. And you know what? A part of me thought they're gonna keep this team into World War II. Part of me did think that, but rightfully so. They blew it up again. Honestly, they're always gonna keep General because his dad owns the team or whatever. But they go into World War II. They got General Dashy, who man, if Dashy could be what he was in Black Ops 4 in World War II, they could have been something special. Maybe I don't know. But they got Dashy, Bevels, and Decimate. That was Bevels' last event. I'm just gonna spoil that now. They faced T12 again. Familiar refrain. They're just good enough to be a pro team, but not good enough to ever remind you that they're a pro team. Like they don't beat pro. They're just that type of team. They're the team who you look at and you're like, they will beat everyone below them that is not worthy of being a pro. Like to be a pro, you're gonna go up to E6. You gotta be able to beat E6. Then you can be a pro team. But they will not, and I mean will not, in any clutch moment ever beat another pro team. Never. It's just not gonna happen in any clutch. I mean, I can't wait for for London because they're getting really hot. We'll get to that in a moment. They're getting really hyped up right now. I can't wait for them to like shit all over everything I'm saying right now and just destroy everybody. I can't wait. I can't wait. That'll be so hilarious. I'm so stupid then. Whatever. All I'm saying is up until this point, this is how they are. They get 9 through 12. Again, they blow up their team after one event. Which maybe that's part of the reason why you would think, oh, maybe that's part of the reason why they can't get anything going. They like to blow things up a lot. Whenever they kept the same team, they would generally get worse over time. They wouldn't get better, like with the team of teams I just previously stated. They had the same team for 4 events in a row at IW. They went from 7th, 8th to T16, T12, T12. They just got stagnated. And then they did the same thing with the next team, T6, T8, T12. So they blow it up again. They get another who, in the context of now, is a really great and that time very great pickup in GodRx and Pander, who was pretty good at that game too. They only went to let me see how big this event was. They only went to the Northern Arena Showdown. There were some good teams in that event though. You got Ground Zero, you got Envy, you got Next Threat, you got FaZe, you got EU, you got Luminosity, you got Echo Fox. They placed dead last. Like, so the teams that were better than them, Assault, Macento, Gunless, Goonjar, Echo Fox, that team was better than them. Parasite, Pharaoh, Blast, Study, Ground Zero, better than them. The team that everybody loved to make fun of, Slasher, Hook, Temp, Classic, Team Envy, better than them. Next threat, Censor, Ricky, Nagaman, Methods, better. They placed 4th. Like, And Luminosity ended up winning that event, by the way. Wasn't a major event, but I think they got. I'm not sure if that was like a throw together team. It might have been one of those where they just wanted to go to the event. They just threw together a team. Either way, weren't confident in the team, rightfully so. Instantly went to pick up Sensor and Blast for Godorex and Pander. They could have kept on to Godorex, maybe. Oh man, you gotta keep that guy. Whatever. Uh, they placed T16. They placed T16. Oh my god, they pick up. It's like, oh man, by that point they're a normal average org. So like there were big names that they attracted every now and then, but they just, oh man, that's where dreams go to die. It really is where dreams go to die. Were they even in pools? Yes. Oh, pff. I think I remember this event now. They were in pools. They went 0 and 4. They only won 5 maps. They lost to GGEA Orange, Red Reserve, Rise, Luminosity. Pretty hard pool actually, but whatever. They go down to that loser bracket. They beat Millennium, not good at the time. Beat Complexity, when have they ever been good recently? And they lose to Envy in round 3. Kind of a hard drawing. Although Envy placed T12 right after that, they lost to FaZe, which also was a hard draw. And then FaZe lost in the next round to Red Reserve, which was also a hard draw. But, nah. Just not good enough, man. At some point, you gotta beat a team that's supposed to be a little bit better than you. At some point, you gotta beat a team. And I think this is the event where they got screwed over in the qualifying for the league. Yeah, that's where they like just barely. I think that was actually Yeah, that was after New Orleans. That was where they just barely freaking. My TK won that event, by the way. Just a little brag there. But that was where they just barely got screwed by some shady shit. They should have made it into the league, but should have made it into the league, bruh. I'm not saying shoulda for anything with this team. They suck ass. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They just straight up suck. They don't deserve anything. They don't. But whatever. Maybe they should have technically been in the league. But they placed T16 at the end of the day. At some point, you gotta beat a team that's good, bro. You gotta beat an Envy. You gotta beat a FaZe every now and then. They didn't even really do it in their event where they placed third. Like, they beat Elevate, who was a top 6 team at the time. But that's the only time. That's the only time they've ever done that. They gave Optic a run for their money. It was a cool event, whatever. So, they're not in the league. The league is kind of everything by this point in World War II. It's literally everything. So, they don't get the cream of the crop of the players after that. General, of course, still there. Uh, Still not living up to expectations. Just he's always been a really good player. It's just like he's always right under my expectations for me. He's just a little bit of an underachiever to me, and he can never do anything when the lights are on. When the lights shine the brightest on him. Never, never. I don't care. And he's probably not gonna. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they're not gonna do it in the future either. But we'll see. Um, they go to Atlanta again, not getting the cream of the crop. They have to drop Sensor, Blast, and Dashy. They pick up Diabolic, Sender, and Abizi. Sender and Diabolic at this point were always a freaking. They were together since like AW, so they were. You can't have one without the other. Diabolic's a pretty decent player. Obese, oh man, the BC's becoming this game. He was an up and comer in World War II. I'll admit that I didn't know a hell of a lot about him at the time, but again, it seems like, oh man, that's another thing. They get a lot of guys right before they become superstars, and even when they did, when they got like proto and royalty, it didn't even work out. So whatever. Like Fellow, right before he broke out, they had him. Uh, Obviously, with the whole royalty thing, I think he's even better after he left. Uh, they had Decimate, another one. They had Goner X, and then they and Pander and let him go. Uh, and then they had a Beezy, and would go with this team for the. I'll give them credit for once. Stick with the team for a long ass time. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 events. Remainder of the year, just all right. We'll just see what happens. This time it'll work. They played T48 at Atlanta. I actually want to see is this even on the bracket? I want to see this. Is this even on the bracket? I'm on COD Esports Wiki, by the way. Is it even there? I can't even. Where are they? Sometimes they cut off some of the rounds in the bracket because it's just so big. Um, I can't even find them. I can't even find them. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, 2 rounds before qualifying for pools, they lose to War Gaming, who I think they were alright, actually. They're decent at the time. I've heard of the team. Are they even like one of the teams that they highlighted? No. What? Alright, so not someone they should be losing to no matter what with the names they have. It's not their, I understand it's not their best team ever. Oh, don't tell me it was when Cade. No. Okay. So, Atlanta. They had Rob B, my man Rob B, Tish, who was in he was in COD Champs. They had Rob B, Tish, Super, who's pretty decent, and Skiliosis. That's the team they lost to. Not exactly impressive. Uh, so then they have to drop down to the losers. Where the hell did they even end up in the losers? Oh man, this is a big bracket. I will find. So they ended up playing Turtles. I remember that. In the next round, they lost to French people, I believe. Team Prismatic. Yeah, Germans. Even worse. Even worse. Somehow, even worse. They lost to freaking some stupid non-UK EU team that was trash, who then lost in the next round to Giants, who then lost in the next round to Most Wanted. Most Wanted eventually qualified for the losers championship bracket. So they were 1, 2, 3. They were 3 rounds away from even qualifying for T24 and the loser championship bracket. That's how bad that team was in that event. Awful. Honestly, the fact that that happened, it's kind of like if you watch football. Anybody listening who watches football, if you watch football, this is the equivalent of when the Browns went 1-15, 0-16, and still didn't fire their coach. That's the one time in their history, short history, where they don't fire a coach after 2 years, and it's like the one time that they should have. This is the one time they don't blow up a team that does bad after one event, and they went T48 like maybe they should have. Uh, But it got better. It got slightly better. God, why did they stay with this team for so long? World War II, rest of the year. Let's take a look. Birmingham, T12. Seattle, T12. Wow. How many times have they gotten T12? A lot of T12. That's the answer. Uh, then we go to Anaheim, T20. Oh no, it's getting bad. They're probably just like, screw it. Make a team change now right before COD Champs. Like, we're not going to make it. Let's at least make it to COD Champs so we can do something this year. They go to the last chance qualifier. They do end up qualifying. Uh, Let me see who they qualified over. Oh, this is one of those easy qualifiers. Just gotta win a couple games. They ended up beating. They got a bye, then they beat Zone, and then they beat some random French team to qualify. So not really that crazy. They qualified though. They play in COD champs and they get T24. Not even close to doing anything. Like it's just oh man, this team is a mess. A mess. They went 1-2 in groups, lost out to Complexity and FaZe for top two in the groups. Didn't even make it to bracket play. They stink. They stunk and they still stink in my opinion. And we go to glorious current times, Black Ops 4. Yay, they're finally gonna be good, right? And then they go to Las Vegas 2019. They place T32 just barely. Oh, hold on, I gotta talk about the team. As you know, they started out this year with General, Diabolic, Kismet, Cade, and Frosty. You look at the expectations of this team. Honestly, I didn't really know much about them at the time when the event came up, but if I had, a lot of expectations. They got General, the old veteran of the team, great player. Diabolic, probably his best COD. Kismet comes out of nowhere, young guy, star player, out of nowhere. Another one of those guys they got. They got they got Cade back, another veteran of the team. All right, okay. And then they got Frosty, only a world champion in another esport in Halo. And they got Sender as their coach. Great coach, I assume. Um, but yeah, it, it didn't it, it didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. I mean they did enough to qualify for the qualifier for the league. Go to the qualifier. All right. They they get put in their group. They get put in their group. Where are we at? They topped their group. Hey, another group. Another group they topped. 5-1, 17-6 map count. Hallelujah, this team is great. At least if you don't play the top teams. God damn. I mean, FaZe didn't even qualify, man. So they ended up qualifying that way. They didn't even. Luckily, I guarantee you that was their motivation, bro. We don't even have to play bracket. Like, man, just do good in the pool point like we always do, so we don't have to worry about that scary, scary bracket. We'll get fucked up if we go to that scary, scary bracket. As you know, they then decided after qualifying, I guess what they were doing was not up to their standards in the league. Their low ass fucking standards. Honestly, if they do anything at this point, that is their standard. They even placed top eight, which so because they didn't meet their standards, decided to make a team change. They put in Chino. They swap out. Who did they swap out? I forget. Frosty, Kismet, Diabolic. Oh, Cade. That's right. How did I forget? How did I forget that? Cade. That's right. Swap out Cade. Continuing Cade's freaking weird relationship with the E6 organization and just weird. I don't even know anything about that, but I just know that he's hopping around. He's coming back for sloppy seconds all the time. But yeah, they go to Fort Worth and they go to their familiar highest possible point they could ever get to in fifth, sixth. Fifth, sixth, pretty good. We're kind of back to where they were about a year or two ago, where it's like, bro, they when they were in IW, bro, we placed fifth, sixth at Anaheim. We got royalty, bro. And Proto, and oh my God, they're stars, and we still got General, we still got King. Bro, this team's gonna be so good for champs. Oh my God, and there's so much hype, and they're a top team now, finally. Not every no, they placed T12 again, so we know how that. Basically, what I'm saying is at London, and I'll talk about their current team now, but at London, T12. If they do not place T12 at London, I will be flabbergasted. Anything better than T12 will be way over my expectations, and I will be happy with it. Oh, man. So they place fifth, sixth. Chino doesn't like the team for whatever reason. He leaves. I'm pretty sure it was on his own volition that he wanted to leave, which is like the first time that's ever happened to him. So good for you. More power to you. You actually get to not get dropped. I love Chino, man. He's awesome. But he decides to leave, and now you see all my pictures I got on there. They get Jet Li and they get God RX. The return of God RX. God RX is awesome. He's great at this game. Great pickup. They got for probably the first time. I don't know if I would call Proto like I definitely wouldn't call General like just a straight up superstar. I kind of would call Royalty that in IW. I think he's right in the borderline of that. And then maybe Pro, but it was like 1.5 stars in IW. But there's only 4 players. Now we got 5 players, so it's a little different. It's a little bit more team oriented as well. But they got a good coach. They got Kismet and GodRX. Two absolute bona fide stars of the game. GodRX finally gets a legitimate chance on a legitimate team in the league. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is probably the most, even more than IW, this is the most hype this team has ever had. It has to be. Um, Obviously they dropped Diabolic too, which I thought was a weird move. I think Diabolic's really good at this game. I think he's just really good lately in his career, which is surprising. After AW was done, I thought he was just done. But he like clawed his way back into the scene, back into the pro league again. I think they kind of did him dirty. But Jet Li also, a lot of people saying he's a star. I need to see just a little bit more before I call him that, personally. But I think you could certainly make the argument that he's a star. Honestly, I haven't watched a lot in Black Ops 4, been busy with things, but I think he's getting there. And he's young too. Where they got a bunch of young talent again, just like when this team started. They got a guy who just was a world champion in another esport. I don't, the transition isn't going fabulously, like perfectly, kind of like a formal type guy, but he's really good. And they still got General. General has never been a bad player. He's a really good player. So this is by far, I think, just on paper, the best team they've ever had. I have to say, they haven't had that many good teams that I even care at all about. But out of those, out of the crap, this is the best of the crap, and I gotta give it to them. They're putting together a great roster. And we all know what that means. T12 City is coming back. They're going to go below all of our expectations. They're going to place T12. They're going to suck and be. They don't even. They can't even have the decency to suck. They don't have the decency to suck. They're mediocre. They're so boring. You forget they're there. They're always in the league. Like this. They're going to be in the league this whole year. They're they're generally in the league. They're generally a pro team, but they're so freaking average that I honestly keep forgetting this team is still here. I keep forgetting. I had to remind myself. And then once I went through their history, once I went from where it started all the way chronologically to now, I had to make a video about it. I had to say something. I have to get this off my chest. They are average. The closest comparison in professional sports is who my friend is a fan of, the Atlanta Hawks. He'll enjoy that. Atlanta Hawks. They're almost dead even in their record overall. In their entire existence. That is E6. They beat everybody they're supposed to. They lose to everybody they're supposed to. They are literally the most boring team ever. They never make an upset. They never I mean, I guess the one time in Atlanta, they lost to teams they weren't supposed to. They generally never lose to teams that they're supposed to beat. Like, what do you even say about this? And it's just the fact that they always have hype. They always have hype for some weird reason. They had hype in the beginning of World War II. They had hype all IW. I mean, they had hype in AW when they came out into the scene. They have more hype than any of those other times now. And I just don't get it. Like, say they even do place T4 in this next event. They could. They absolutely could. They're on the trajectory to do it. Although they've, like I said, they've done that in the past. That's their first T4 since, let's look at the date. 5/17/2015. It's been almost a full 4 years to the date. It'll be 5/5/2019. 5/17/2015. Like, dude, this team you have to get top four as far as I'm concerned. It is your requirement or blow it up again. Because this team hasn't done it in 4 years. And they've been expected to a majority of the time throughout those 4 years. Besides Black Ops 3 when they didn't do anything. But most of the time, through AW, through IW, through beginning of World War II, now, they're expected to do something. And they never do. And any single person that disagrees with that or doesn't think they're average, just look at their Call of Duty wiki, whatever it's called, COD wiki, whatever the hell. Look at that. Look at that page. Go to E6, Enigma 6. Go to their achievements page. Click offline. That's exactly what I just did. Look at all their lands. Just look at it for yourself. I just went through it. Enigma 6. If you're somehow watching this, I hope this lights a fire under you and gets you to at least top four. But you know what? It's not going to. And that's not because you're not watching. It's because you will forever fail. I'm done.